Good everyone, welcome to the meeting of the local review body. As you can see, since I'm the one speaking first today, we are without a chair, so in terms of item 1 I do have apologies from Councillors Cunningham and McLean, but I will move straight away to the appointment of a chair and ask those members present if they wish to make any nominations, please.
Well, we have agreed that we would rotate the chair in the absence in circumstances where there's no chair or vice chair, so the turn is now of Councillor Ireland to be the chair.
I'll second that.
Propose that. Thank you.
Happy to second, Chair. Are there any dissenting voices? No. Therefore, Councillor Ireland, if you could please assume the chair.
Hi, good afternoon. I'll open up the local review body meeting. Are there any apologies for absence?
Yes, Chair, I do have apologies from Councillors Cunningham and McLean.
Thank you very much. Are there any declarations of interest in anything before us today? Thank you very much. We've got 2 items before us. I'll move straight on to agenda item number 3, review 2024-05. Replacement of rear single-storey extension with combined flat and pitched roof and extended rear dormer at 68 Montgomery Street, Eaglesham. Do we have enough information before us today to make a decision?
Thank you very much, Chair. So I'm aware that there has been a response, if this is correct, in my understanding, from the reporter. And I'm not sure whether we can consider that as part of our determination today. It might be, if that's the case, that we can't, it might be an idea to defer, which gives us a chance to consider all of the information available, but also gives the applicant an opportunity to perhaps respond to what the reporter has to say.
Thank you. Over to yourself. John, do you have any information on that, or does Mr Brand have any information?
Sure, I understand there has been a decision in that respect, but that's not necessarily a matter for this decision. It would be for the committee to decide whether or not they wish to proceed without that acknowledgement, or if they wish to receive that information before proceeding.
Okay. Can I open it out to the committee? Is there anyone who would like to see that information? I'm taking up on the points by Provost Montague.
The decision of the reporter is a material consideration of the case, and it's something to which the LRB should have regard. Oh, okay. But while it was referred to in the paperwork, it's referred to the report on handling. The decision hasn't been circulated, and given that it is a material consideration, it would be something to which the board members should consider. And it's also in the interest of natural justice, something that the appellant should be given the chance to speak about. So
that
our recommendation, discussing with Mark when we're proceeding, would be to defer, to ask the appellant whether they would wish to make any comment, and then that would give also the board members a chance to properly consider the reported decision, which is a material consideration.
Would we be able to get that back for the next meeting?
Would be October, so.
Then that's enough time.
Yes.
That's enough time to do that. That seems very straightforward. I would put forward that we wait, we get given the reporter's decision, and we have a chance to look at that as part of the papers for the next meeting. Yes. And then the applicant has a chance to look at that. So I'm very happy with the Provost's suggestion and your own. So unless there's anyone's otherwise minded, we just defer, and we'll see the reporter's decision. Right? Brilliant. Thank you very much. Moving swiftly on to agenda item number 4, review 2024-06, erection of a 2-storey side and rear extension and a single-storey side rear extension, from page 70 of the papers onwards. Do we have enough information before us today to make a decision? Yes. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Can I then turn that over to yourself, Mr Brand?
Thank you, Chair. This appeal regards the erection of a two-sided side extension and a rear extension, a single-storey extension at number 87 Harvey Avenue, Newton Mearns. This is in Ward 4, Newton Mearns North and Neilston. There were two objections to this application. I will summarise the grounds given for objection. These were an adverse effect on the character of the building and the surrounding area, the impact upon the use and the layout of the cul-de-sac, overshadowing and loss of daylight to neighbouring properties, overlooking and loss of privacy to neighbouring properties, existing CCTV and floodlights, impact on property value, and the impact of construction works. I'll now summarise the decision made by the planning case officer. The proposal has two components, a two-storey side and a single-storey side rear extension. The proposed two-storey side and rear extension would retain the width of the existing single-storey side and increase the eaves height from 2.9 metres to 5.2 metres. The roof design would change to a hipped roof design. The proposal would increase the length of the existing single-storey rear extension from 4.3 metres to 9 metres, and the width of the single-storey rear extension from 7.6 metres to 11 metres. The proposal shows that the original building had a footprint of 47 metres squared. The existing building has a footprint of 107 metres squared, and the current proposal would increase the footprint of the building to 171 metres squared. The East Renfrewshire Council's Householder Design Guidance includes the principle that extensions should generally not exceed 100% of the original building footplate. The board members should note there was a previous application for the erection of a two-storey side and rear extension and a single-storey side rear extension, which was refused in September 2023. The reason, therefore, for refusal by the case officer is as follows. The proposal is of a size, scale and massing that would constitute overdevelopment and would dominate the existing building to the detriment of its character. The significant bulk and massing does not respect local architecture, building form and design, and would result in a significant loss of character and visual amenity to the surrounding area. The proposal is therefore contrary to National Planning Framework 4 Policies 14 and 16 and Policies D1, D1.1 and D2 of the Local Development Plan. I'll now summarise the statement of appeal by the appellant. The proposal will reduce the non-porous surface area within and around the property by increasing the area of grass. The property would be developed in a location where the plot size is 652 square metres. This is 225% greater than the average plot size in Harvey Street. The floor plate will increase by 66 square metres, but 36 square metres are given back by the removal of the garage and its replacement with grass. The total area of tarmac will be reduced and the grass area increased. The thermal performance of the new outer walls will be 5 times more energy efficient than the existing walls. And the reconfiguration of the side extension will create south and west elevations that have higher quality design, than those of the existing elevations, and would be more harmonious with neighbouring properties in Harvey Avenue. In the event of this review being upheld, the following conditions should be attached to any planning permission thus granted. 1. The development hereby approved must be begun not later than the expiration of 3 years beginning with the date on which permission is granted, or, as the case may be, deemed to be granted. And the reason being, to comply with the provisions of Section 58 of the Town and Country Planning Scotland Act 1997. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. There's just one condition that has been suggested, yes? Okay.
That's correct, yeah.
Thank you. Can I open it out to, yes, Councillor Morrison?
Thank you very much, Chair. There's 3 aspects I'd like to consider following the site visit earlier this morning. Colleagues may have noted the kind of quite distinctive character of the neighbourhood we visited, which is part of the so-called kind of Radburn style, where the houses, the front door of the houses lead on to a network of pathways, and the rear of the houses is for vehicle access. In some ways a design signature perhaps somewhat ahead of its time, considering new planning frameworks and the transport hierarchy, but these properties predate that by quite some time. And traditionally, when we go to see an extension, or someone applies for an extension, the extension is towards the rear of the property. But I think in this case there isn't quite a clear distinction between what the front is and what the back is, because a lot of people will access via vehicle, and that's not quite the rear of the property. It's not as clearly cut in a more conventional style of development. The second aspect is the overall character of the local neighbourhood, which colleagues may have noted. A lot of the properties have a particular design signature, and they don't tend to deviate from that very much. In some other parts of East Renfrewshire, there's an array of different types of dormer windows and extensions and what have you, but in this area of Crookford, I think that the properties are by and large as original, and the extensions which are there, few they may be, are generally quite sympathetic to the original property. Now, I appreciate points 1 and 2 are quite subjective and it's all a matter of personal judgment. So the final point I would refer to is the footprint. So this is a specific measurable which we can refer back to, and in the supplementary guidance, as Mr Brand said, a property should not be more than 100% of the original building with extensions. 263% would be, in my view, a grossly exceeding that threshold. To be 100% more than the original property, to be 263%, I think really quantifies the extent of the scale and massing of what this proposal would be, and on that basis I'd be minded to uphold the panel's decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments from the local review body? Yes, Councillor Riddle.
I would add, while I agree with Councillor Morrison's comments, especially the one about the building being 263% bigger than the original, it is the only building in that whole segment of that street that is detached. All the other buildings are semi-detached as you go round, so it's kind of unique. So it's, in the first place, it's out of kilter with the rest of the buildings, but I do feel that we have to take into account the comments that Councillor Morrison just read. I won't repeat them, except that the fact that it is 263% bigger than the original building and the normal position is no more than 100%. So I think that is perhaps an overriding consideration as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you very much. Provost Montague.
Yeah, it was the actual mass of it concerned me, as well as the comments about amenity, etc., and not in keeping with the character of the rest of the area. But it seemed that from 47 square metres to 107 square metres, at that point even, it was over the 100%. And it just seems that there's an aim here to get bigger and bigger, and there's got to be a halt, you know, imposed according to the reason there are policies is to protect the environment and amenity, etc. So, albeit it's a disappointment when people want to expand and do things with a building, that you can only go so far with that. So I would agree with my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there's no other comments, I would say I agree completely with what everyone said. I think the points made by yourselves, and I think there's a couple of points made from the objections that have came in that I can see. I think that they were saying it's an adverse effect on character of building and surrounding area, and I found myself in agreement with that, as well as the planner's reasons for refusal. So I would move that we accept the planner's. Oh, sorry.
It was just to ask in relation to your decision,
Thank you very much. No, that is helpful, because and if the local review body is in agreement, I personally am in agreement with the planner's recommendation that it is contrary to NPF 4 policies 14 and 16 and policies D1, D1.1 and D2 of the local development plan. Unless anyone is otherwise minded, I'd like to move that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So the decision is that the decision of the appointed officer in this case be upheld and planning permission refused as per the decision notice in terms of the policies.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll see you in October.